did. And I know that we all destined for greatness, no matter what you've been facing. It's a marathon, no, it's not a sprint. It's for all of the trials and tribulations. Just look at my mom made it. I said I was gonna change it, I did. And I know that we all destined for greatness, no matter what you've been facing. It's a marathon, no, it's not a sprint. Trying to change for the better, all my city, see the difference. From the mamas to the children, every one of us is gifted.
Good afternoon, the back community. Thank you as always for staying involved. Thank you for staying engaged. We are back like we never left. This is episode 2 of season 5. You know, the theme for season 5 is spread love. And I have to say that today's guest is someone who I see spread love through all of the posts and social media that I see him involved in. It's always him and his family, and it's always about God. I could not wait to get him on this platform, and it's been a long time coming. So, without further ado, today's guest on the back community is going to be Mr. Booked and Busy himself, Miguel Rodriguez. Miguel, man, I want to say thank you for agreeing to be on the back community, and I look forward to diving into your story, bro.
Yes. Hey, thank you. First and foremost, I'm humbly honored. I thank you for inviting me, and I'm excited, and much appreciative of the opportunity.
All right, all right. And what was it? I know I just we just had what is it? Something at work yesterday, but I know it's still Hispanic Heritage Month as well.
Yes,
I
sir.
know that you are originally from Puerto Rico, so I want to
Yes,
say
sir.
happy Hispanic Heritage Month to you and the
Yes, yes,
family.
yes.
But listen, I try my best to introduce everyone when they come onto the show, but in my heart of hearts, I truly believe that nobody can introduce you how you can introduce yourself. So, Miguel, my first question for you on the Back Community podcast is going to be, please tell us who Miguel Rodriguez is and what is it that you actually do?
All right. So Miguel Rodriguez. I came to the U.S. when I was 11 months years old. I was born in Puerto Rico, and my mom actually brought us to Amsterdam, New York, and that's where I grew up until about 10 years old. And we when you have a parent who comes from another country, doesn't know the language, there's a lot of struggles. And so what I got out of that, part of who I am today is I always saw the hustle in my mom. She always worked. If she needed to work 3 jobs, she would work them. And and she still made a bunch of time for us and made sure we had what we needed. So that was my childhood in Amsterdam. Then I lived in Puerto Rico for 2 years, and that was a bit of a culture shock.
Mm,
Going from Amsterdam to Puerto Rico, but we ended up coming back, and that's when my story in the capital region like really went into fruition. So I came to Schenectady right around 2013, 2014. And I started in middle school at Mount Pleasant Middle School, and this is where I grew up. I got into sports, playing football, and I started working, a little part-time job, and all the way up until I graduated high school and I went to college. I went to SUNY Cobleskill, about an hour away from here. That's where I met my beautiful wife in
nice.
2007, and that's where I got my bachelor's degree. And it was a great experience there. And you know, and then from graduating in 2011, fast forward to now, it's been a roller coaster. I've had a lot of opportunities in growth in a lot of areas. From being an infrastructure administrator for the state to owning my own business. I actually started Mr. Smart Home in 2018, and in 2018, Prior to that, I was working part time at a smart home company called Wink, and Wink used to make these boxes where you would connect different devices to it, and it was a hub, and you see that nowadays. Like there's like a home pod can be a hub,
Yeah.
or Amazon makes a hub, and so they were one of like the first that started off with that concept, and I was doing customer service with them, and I was doing really well, and I had an individual from the Dominican Republic who would call for service. And one day he told me, he said, Miguel, you're so good at this, man. Why don't you just start your own thing? And and for a couple of weeks, that just started playing in my head, and I was already doing computer repair. And people would ask me like, hey, do you know anybody who does cameras? Do you know anybody who does door lock, smart door locks? And that's when I felt like God was starting to put those seeds, and
Entrepreneur.
yeah, and everything just started culminating together. I ended up leaving the part time at Wink, and and I had a conversation between me and God, and I was like, Lord, if I'm gonna leave this part time, I need I need my business to bring in what I similar to what I was bringing in then with the part time. And man, a true testimony to today that that's exactly how it went. And he showed out. He showed out.
Mm,
And in 2018, fast forward to today, the last 3 years have been our best years.
nice.
We went from doing residential homes who somebody wanted 2 to 3 cameras to doing the Boys and Girls Club in Albany, and in Troy. We're finishing up Albany right now, and we finished the Troy location last month.
Nice.
And these are big milestones. And when I first started, I never would have thought. These are ideas that you're like, oh man, I wonder how those systems work, and I wonder the connections on meeting those type of people to get into those type of projects, and slowly but surely, the support of the community, um, the word of mouth, it has catapulted us to that, and that's why I'm always showing my how
I'm
grateful
booked
I
and
am.
busy.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yep,
And
yep, yep.
yeah, so right now, we were booked all summer. Well, actually, we were booked all spring, all summer, and then the fall. So we're gonna be wrapping it up um right around the end of October, and then I need a break. I gotta spend that quality time with the family in the holidays, and I need to focus in some areas. And for me, it's not all about work. My family is my priority, and God is at the center.
Yep.
And in order for me to be the man that I am, I have to have God at the center, and be led with His strength. And
I love it.
and so yeah, man. That's what's going on at the moment.
Okay.
2025 is looking good so far.
Yep, right around the corner, right around the corner. Listen. I'm gonna go back on one thing and just say that I meant to say this when I was saying a happy Hispanic Heritage Month. Was like so in Puerto Rico. One of the I'm not gonna say it's the biggest dishes, but I know whenever we go to San Juan, and do you love mofongo? That is the
Oh
question.
man,
What's going on
that's
with
one of
mofongo?
that's one of my go-tos, man. So whenever I get mofongo, I get mofongo de chicharrón. So what that is, it's basically mofongo, but it has pieces of you ever had the roast pork, the
Yes,
hard
absolutely.
so it has some of the crunchy parts inside the mofongo, and then you put the little sauce on top of it. Oh man, chef's kiss, man. It is amazing, amazing.
Look, we did a tour through Old San Juan. We also did one of the what do you call it, excursions to learn how to make mofongo. My wife and
Ooh,
I don't know how many years ago that was, but it was amazing. And so now whenever we go back, it's like, can I get some mofongo? Can I get some mofongo? Like, Tyra, what you know about mofongo? He's like,
yeah,
listen, I know.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, and also you get to see when on the island, you get to see when you go to different places that make it, so make it with a little bit of a tougher consistency. You see some that make it a little
mm,
bit softer, and then you can pair it with a lot of different things,
yeah.
shrimp, surf
Shrimp.
steak, all everything, man.
Yeah, my go-to is shrimp. I want the
Hmm.
shrimp. Listen,
Yes,
I'm a
yes,
foodie at heart, so I always get excited for anything related to food. So I had to throw in mofongo.
yes, sir, man. Good choice.
Let me see. I do want to ask you, obviously, in the tech space, it's booming. It's booming across several different spaces as it pertains to technology. But
Yes.
what was it about the tech space that stood out to you? I know you do everything from cameras, security systems to computer repair.
Yeah.
What was it about working with those working in technology that actually piqued your interest? What was it about it?
Man, so for me, it started off. I was uh, I was 16 years old, and in Schenectady, there was a program called Computers for Kids, and this program was a summer program where you could build your own computer. You would get paid hourly, to attend every day, weekly, and at the end, you were able to take the computer. It was yours, and that started off everything. I ended up, doing really well. I got like these certificates for how well I did, and I didn't even think it was. At that moment, I didn't understand that it was something that I was even interested in. It just I gravitated towards it. It went well. I really liked it, and then fast forward to when I got in high school, I started taking some computer courses that gave me college credits, and then since I was already used to like messing around with computers, and then I took the courses. So once college, that whole concept started coming around, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go to school
Mm,
for tech, and that's exactly what I did, and it just so going from the learning to the to doing it professionally, I started from the bottom, man.
mm,
I there's a big difference from learning the foundations in school. So when you get out into the real world, you're out in real world situations, but especially when it's your business, right? Because when you're in a job environment and when you're offering a service as business, it's much two different things.
mm.
And first I started getting comfortable in doing computer repair because I was doing it for friends and family.
Yep.
So when I started going through the trials and errors, I'm like, you know what? I know I started learning the what to do and what not to do. And and I started, every month, I was getting, more and more people asking me questions, needing help, and and I just started to, you know, all those ideas started to culminate together. And but the biggest service that started was the cameras.
Okay.
I had for a while, I'd say for about probably a year. I guess I was sort of intimidated, man. I don't know why. It was in the tech space, but I just didn't. It was like another language to me,
Mm,
and it wasn't up until I started following some Facebook groups that did a security, and then YouTube. I
mm.
got on YouTube. I started watching all these installers, man, and that's how I got started. And I had somebody that reached out to me from a client who I fixed their computer, and they were they were looking for some cameras. And by that time, I was already well versed in what to get, how the technology worked, and one of the biggest things is they didn't want a monthly payment. So, I already know what to do then because, people they want the security, they want to be protected, but at the same time there's a large number of people where they don't want to get into a contract and they don't want a monthly payment because they're already paying for
Yep.
internet and such, you know what I'm saying? And so that's a space where I started to grow, was, where I was letting clients know, hey, there's no monthly payments. You just pay for an installation,
Yep.
and that's it. And right after my first opportunity, at a home in Colony, word of mouth just started spreading. And I was just advertising on Facebook, putting up every picture of every camera of the job that I was doing, and and here we are now, man.
It's I mean the level of security that we end up getting, by having cameras on our properties or on our homes, it gives me peace of mind. Like
Yeah.
here in DC, I can monitor my homes here. I can monitor the houses there in New York. Same thing.
Hmm.
Actually, I
Hmm.
have a job for you. One of my smart doors up there isn't working, and I can't figure out why this lock isn't working. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna tap into Miguel on this one. So,
Yeah.
but the level of security that I see that it provides people is it's well worth it. Like we
Yeah.
were in Reading a couple of months ago with my father-in-law, and I was telling him, it's like, man, we need to get cameras put on your house for you or whatever, of just like so that way you can monitor it whenever you're not there, because he travels a lot
Hmm.
to go back and forth to Haiti. So we ended
Yeah.
up installing the Ring floodlights
Yep.
for him, right? And I'm just like,
Yeah.
listen, I love these things because it's dual features, right? It's going to give you the light, but it's also going to give you the security, and you can talk back and
Exactly.
forth on them too, right?
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
and he's just been like so happy ever since.
Hmm.
Like, we just speaking to him the other day. He's like, Todd, that was the greatest thing ever. He says, I can see everything. He says, I see the cat when the cat walks by. I see the mailman.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and
What
it
gives me
gives you peace of
satis
mind.
It does. And it I love seeing that satisfaction in the clients because, I'm a landlord, myself as well. And so, I've done many installations for landlords, for Airbnb owners,
Mm.
for people who have vacation properties. And so you see that, amongst all those different clients and even just a homeowner, um, who doesn't have an Airbnb or vacation home, you see that commonality in them where they have that peace of mind. They're able to view, in real time footage on their phone, and to them, that's, it's a lot. For a younger generation, to them, it's normal, right?
Yep.
But for some of these other people, the only security they ever saw was just like on a fixed screen, in a building, or on a screen in a basement or something like that.
Mm.
But now the flexibility where you can be anywhere in the world as long as you have an internet connection, that's through your mobile carrier or you're on Wi-Fi, you're able to tap in.
Good to go.
And what better than that? And some of these landlords that I work with, they and Airbnb owners, they give lock access to people.
Yep.
They set up codes right from the app. They're able to view camera footage. There's so much that can be done that, once I started working with all these technologies, I wanted to learn more and more
Yep.
and more, so that when I had a question, I answered those questions. But I also wanted to know the pricing structure around it, because that matters a whole lot.
Mm.
I want to be able to work with people's budgets, because that's the day we're in today. Not everybody has $2,000 to invest in a security system, but if somebody has like a budget of around $500, then that's something that we could work with. You know what I'm saying? And I can find them solutions. And And even if I can't help them at the moment, I'm still going to answer their questions.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, and like I said, it's been very, very helpful as for our Airbnb property too. Like I said, the smart locks being able to automatically generate a code for you, and here
Yeah,
you go. You walk in, you have access to the space, you lock up,
yeah,
good to go.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So, but
Easy,
yeah,
easy and smooth. That's what you
yeah.
want. You don't want it to be complicated.
Mm-mm, no, no, not at all. But I got a question for you. With everything that's going on in business booming, especially over the last 3 years, as a parent, as a husband, as an entrepreneur, as a man of faith, how do you find a healthy work-life balance to keep your cool? Because whenever I see you, it's always smiles. There's never anything else. So, how do you find a
Oh
healthy
man.
work-life balance?
Oh man. Look, man. Ever since I started, um, ever since I got saved and and allowing God to lead me, um, it's given me a different sense of peace. And he's guided me into areas like, our calendar and between me and my wife is everything.
Yep.
So,
Facts.
we schedule so much on there, and it allows us to, it helps us with everything that we do. Because my wife has, a lot going on too, but we always make sure that we have time for our family, for our children, even my wife and I. And
Yep.
so we get some friends that ask us, hey, how do you guys do it? And I tell them, I'm like, hey, sometimes it seems like, we ask ourselves that question, but we just get it done. And the main answer there is, um prayer, patience, and in our calendar.
In our calendar.
Yeah, in our calendar. And I almost every day I make it to my son's football practice. Saturdays he has his games. Mondays my daughter has gymnastics. Um, Currently Saturdays, and I'm working on a project. Sundays after service, I'm back to work, and so everything is just flowing. But there's hours in the day, right, where we get to divide and move around, and we make it work. And so it's all about prioritization. And I always have a on my busiest days, I always have a task to do list.
Nice.
So there's certain things that I write down. 'Cause I'm not perfect. Sometimes I'm like, I
Forgot
forget
about
or
that
I
one.
forget, you know, and but I'm very blessed that my wife, she's she's my rock, and she backs me up. So if I forget, or if whatever the situation is, she's backing me up, like making sure that I'm contacting this person, or that I'm there on time, and that the kids, everything's going well with the kids, and even us, we have that communication where, we if she needs time, or if I need time, if we need
Yep.
time together, um, that's very important, because I wouldn't be able to get through my days, if I didn't have that bond with her.
Yep, yep. And listen, for all you guys out there listening, Miguel and I are giving you a cheat code to success. What did you say? You said yours was prayer, patience in your calendar. Was it the
Yes.
second one? Okay.
Yep.
So
Prayer, patience, and calendar.
and calendar. Listen, the calendar is how the Hughes household stays afloat, right? All the way down. My oldest son is 14, will be 15 next month. 8-year old, 6-year old, and we leave our calendar on the refrigerator so the kids can see what's going on too, so they
Yep.
know if we got a trip planned, if we got a play date, if someone's got a game,
Yep.
stuff like that, and it really makes life possible, right? So
Yeah.
I remember when my wife was first trying to sell me on this whole idea of using a calendar. I'm like, I got this.
Yeah.
I don't need it. right?
Yeah.
And now, I find myself defending the use of our calendar to family. It's
Hmm.
like I remember I got into it with my sister one time. She's like, "I don't need a calendar for all of this." I'm like, "Okay, well, you got to do what works for you. I know what works for us." And
Yeah.
scheduling between my wife's schedule, my schedule, the kids' schedule,
Hmm.
it's impossible. And like you said,
Yeah.
as a married man, you also got to make time for each other. We have
Hmm.
date night that we do
Hmm.
every week, right?
Hmm.
Church
Hmm.
activities, and the only way it doesn't happen by itself. So the cheat code for all you guys out there listening is use your
The
calendar, use those
calendar.
calendars on your phone.
Yep.
Don't pretend to put everything off in the brain and say, I'm gonna remember it. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna forget something. But
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
calendar keeps you honest and it keeps you accountable, and it
Yes.
works. You're hearing from two
Yes.
people who are making it work and thriving because of prayer, patience, and our calendar.
That's right. That's right.
Let me see. This question it has always fluctuated over the years, but I love this question. Um, if you were to define success for you, Miguel, how would you define success? What does success look like for you?
Defining success for me has changed throughout the last throughout the last 6 years. Before my life changed, with God, to me, it was all, like materialistic,
Yeah.
house and cars and all of this. But now, everything is much different. To me, success is seeing the smiles on my kids' faces when I get home. Seeing my wife, where her mood changes on her tough days when we're together, when all of our families together, and we're able to spend time together and go on a trip and do things with other friends and family and have that dynamic where we're still a family, we're still communicating, we're not perfect, no family's perfect, but we enjoy each other's time and and it fulfills me. But at the same time, we're working towards a future that we see the fruit in it,
Mm.
and we see it developing and we pray on it and we put it in God's hands and we see that, when we try something, if I always say if it's in God's will, he's gonna bless it. And when we see it, come out into something positive, we see it as a blessing.
Mm.
If we notice like a hard stop, you got to discern that. And so, when I define success, it's that marriage of having God in the center, and our family in a good place, and also with our aspirations and our daily lives, when it comes to our future and everything that we have going on, and having that all together, and being grateful.
Yeah, yeah. I love how you summarize that, and I don't think there's anything that could be added to it. And you have a really a balanced definition of success. And it always, well, for some of us, it evolves. Some of us, it never does. Success is
Hmm.
what it is to certain people. But
Right.
I tell people that if you live long enough and you go through enough hardships or you lose people that you love, your whole life your whole life changes how you appreciate or interpret things in your life. Like you said, sometimes if it's a hard stop, it might be God saying, "Hey, this isn't where I'm trying to lead you to. This isn't where I want you to go."
Right.
But you live long enough, you learn to appreciate different things, different people. I think the older I got, I would tell all my friends I want a praying friend rather than a cool friend, right? The younger
Right.
self, I probably would have been around all of the cool, right? But right
Right.
now, it's really cool to have people who have good judgment. Like I love being able to go to my inner circle and know that they're going to tell me the truth, know
Right.
that they're going to
Right.
give me helpful advice, rather
Yep.
than, what looks cool or, faking the front. I want people that are going to help me to get through life and make me a
Yep.
better person. And,
Yep. Huge
so
blessing.
yeah. So hearing your definition of success, like I said, it was a really mature and balanced answer to it. And the only way that you get to there is by going through hardship and figuring out what, that balance should look like in between.
Yeah.
So good
Yep.
for you. Good for you.
Definitely going around the same mountains a couple of times until I got it.
Let me see. Let me see. I'm gonna do something for you that I call rapid fire. This is something that I thoroughly enjoy. It's gonna be 60 seconds of me asking you random questions. Don't worry, nothing too salacious, nothing to get you in trouble, anything like that. But I think the older we get, some of us lose that inner child and we never really get a chance to express who we really are. People don't
Mm,
know what you like other than what you do, right? And I
yeah.
like understanding people and what they do. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions right now for rapid fire. Are you ready to
Go.
indulge this with me?
Let's go.
All right, all right. First things first, if you had to choose your favorite season of the year, what would it be and why?
The fall. The fall because of football, and also you get the mix. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. Sometimes we're able to put our hoodies on. Sometimes you're still able to wear shorts. At least over here, in New York, and I don't know, it just starts feeling a little bit more cozy
Hmm.
and so yeah, the fall, man. That's definitely my favorite season.
Okay, okay. If you were to choose, let's say Miguel's having a rough day. You got 5 or 6 clients that are wrecking your nerves right now, and you're trying to meet everybody's ask, and you have a go-to food or a go-to snack that is your pick-me-upper. What would be your go-to snack or go-to food?
Oh man, my go-to. Oh man, there's this Mexican spot by me, and I get these. They're called sopes, and they're
Mm,
they're basically like it's sort of like it's like a taco on top of it's like a soft it's oh man, it's made out of, I think it's made out of like corn. Yeah, it's sort of like a tortilla shell, but not as hard.
mm.
And it's basically like a taco on top of that, and they're amazing. And yeah, that's one of my go-tos, man. And I do that, on those tough days, man. I'll have a date with myself, and you
Facts.
know, yep, I'll have some sopes, man. And the place is called La Mexicana.
Nice, nice. Let me see. And if you were to choose your favorite musician, I always like to think I can learn a lot of person by the music and the movies they watch. But if you were to choose your favorite musician, any genre, who would it be
Oh
and why?
man, oof, this is a tough one. Wow, wow. Okay. I forgot her name. My life, so much changed once I started listening to her songs, and she does a song called "The Blessing," and
Mm.
uh,
Look,
hold on, actually,
look, you got me about to go find it too.
hold on, I'm gonna find it right now. Carrie Joe.
Carrie
Carrie
Joe.
Joe, man. There's a song called "The Blessing," and there's another one that she does, and those two songs, man. When I was going through my changes, those songs impacted me in my life way more than any other music that I've ever heard in the past. Yeah, I used to have my favorite, rappers or this or that, and even in the in the Latino music genre, but um something about her
Mm,
songs and hearing the just the cry out for God, because this was all new to me, man. Like I
mm,
used to I didn't grow up listening to, to gospel or Christian music or anything like that. And but man, when I would listen to those songs, like I would be brought to tears in my car, and so much changed. Like, I had never experienced stuff like that in my life, and Carrie Joe, man, she did a lot for me.
Okay. 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 And let me see, man, if you were to choose your favorite sneaker, I'm a sneakerhead. So
Whew.
if you had to choose, what would be your favorite a favorite sneaker and why?
Oh man. Um, I know my f- my favorite sneaker and why, the Yeezy 2 Red October.
Ooh.
And the why, um when when those sneakers came out on a shock drop when I didn't even know what shock drops were.
Mm.
And they were impossible to get. But when I saw them, man, there was just something about them where I was just like, man, just the design and everything about me. Like, I was like, if I had the money, I would get those, and I still feel the same way today. and
Yep.
that's one of those like grails for me, right?
Yep.
And but yeah, man, the Yeezy 2 Red October.
Okay. Okay. All right. And last question for you in this round of rapid fire has to be this one for me. If you were to say that if you were to choose between fear or love, would you prefer a person to fear you or to love you, and why?
I'm gonna say fear, and here's why. When I think of fear, I think of the fear of God,
Mm,
and the fear of God, is also His love is also expressed through that. So it's like it's so I look at it as like, right, as a dad, right? So our kids, it's a form of like fear and respect, right?
yep.
Like you can only mess with dad to a certain
Yep.
extent. You gotta behave, you gotta do what you gotta do. Um, but through that, there's love, and
Mm.
so that's why I pick fear first, and
Mm.
and I interpret it in that way.
I love it. I'm still in that. I'm still in that right there. Listen, because everybody shies away from saying fear because it's like, oh, that it'll make me the bad person if I say
Yeah,
I'd rather you fear me than love me. But I'm
yeah,
still
yeah.
in that. I'm still in that. I love that right there. Thank you for indulging me in rapid fire. And I do have one question as a follow up to that. Is um, understanding your unique walk with God, um, how has that transition been for you? And was there a moment that brought you to God?
Oh
And
man.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whew.
Let's talk about
So,
that.
all right, I'm gonna. Okay, man. So I'm gonna. After I graduated college, me and my wife moved in together. We about a year later, we purchased a house together. Then we had our first. We had our daughter, and I was working two jobs. I was extremely busy, and my wife, she was 3 hours away from her family, and she didn't really have anybody. She was just she was going through a lot, and postpartum and all of that, and you know um I didn't really know how to. I thought I was just doing what I had to do as far as a provider, and and uh and she just began going through some changes, man, and I didn't understand, and that was her, being saved.
Mm,
And she found God, and it from a YouTube video, and everything just changed. I remember calling my mom one day, and I was like, Mom, I was like, my wife's name is Jeanette, and I was like, Mom, this is not the same Jeanette. I don't understand what's going on. Like,
mm,
she doesn't listen to the same music, she doesn't watch the same stuff. I don't. I don't understand. Like, we used to be on the same page. Now it's like, we're not. I don't know what's going on, and it was causing a lot of friction in different areas. And my mom, I remember the words my mom told me. My mom said, you know, leave her. That God's working on her.
Mm,
And I just, I was just like, okay, God, let's see what happens. Fast forward, you know, she began going through so many changes, and she was being an example to me a lot. And and I was going through some things, man, where God was also working on me, but I was a knucklehead. I was, I accepted God, like, I'd say probably 2 or 3 years later. And
mm,
so a lot of her changes, she went through them alone because I wasn't on board and I just didn't understand. And I was I was there's a difference between somebody that just smokes weed, but
mm,
I was addicted. I was
mm,
heavily addicted, and part of that reason is because I had an accident with a pedestrian, where the pedestrian's life, the person almost lost her life, and thank the Lord, that person is fine today. But I could have lost everything, man. And
mm.
um and 2 years later, I received a letter in the mail saying that I had no more involvement in the case and that everything went through insurance. And listen, I didn't. I had the most basic minimum insurance that you could think of, and so at one point, her medical expenses were over $1 million, and
Mm.
I don't know. I don't under. It was divine. It was divine. So
Yep.
that was another example of God speaking to me and showing me that He's there and that He's always been there, and just so many different instances, and I had to work on myself. He needed to bring me to a certain level
Yeah.
um through going through hardships in order for me to get it, because he was bailing me out so many times that I was like, the numbers would never be in my favor. How is this happening? The whole
Facts.
time, the whole time, the whole time my wife is praying and fasting and doing all this stuff, and at one point, it just started clicking, and she invited me to church, and I started feeling all these emotions, and then boom, I had an experience, one day at service, and it wasn't loud and it wasn't anything. It was just it was just me, and I felt a blanket of warmth, and just so much, man. And yeah, and shortly after, I was I was freed from my weed addiction within, I'd say, 2 months.
Mm.
Um Other bad habits that slowly went away, and I think I'm about 4 years in now, man, and
Let's go.
it's been the best decision of my life, man.
Congratulations, congratulations. And I had to ask because, you know, I see that you accept and you make space um, for God, right? And I do as well, right? So it's always like when you know, when you feel it, and like you can see the vibe, you can see the aura of a person like that. It's like, and I think that in today's world, we don't make enough space for it. It's like in a lot of ways, people keep, their relationship with God in this quiet little corner,
Yeah,
right? And it's
yeah,
just like,
yeah,
well,
yeah,
I pray before I eat, right? But it's just
yep,
like,
yep,
but rather than realizing that one, God has so much more in store for us, and then two, that He has been protecting us through all of our stupidity, right? And I
yes,
say this in my book. I say, I said, God saves idiots and babies, right? And I was like, at this point in my life, when I was talking about it in the book, I says I was easily both, right? And you
mm,
realize that, like you said, all these things that are happening, they end up working out in my favor, and the odds is it's not supposed to be that way. So,
exactly,
like, okay, how long am I going to continue to think that it's me? But
yes,
it's so freeing to hear someone else be able to realize, like, I knew there was a moment, right? It was just like, okay, so what was it for you, Miguel? It's like when you
yeah,
realize it, and it's just like, it's not me.
Yeah.
as much as I want to say I'm witty, I'm smart, it's God.
Hmm.
And God has
Hmm.
been giving me the opportunity to make the decision. And now
Yeah.
being able to live it, now I see it, now I feel it, and now I want to be surrounded and embraced by other people who feel it and walk with it. So congratulations to
Yeah.
you.
Thank you,
Congratulations to
man.
your wife for being able to stay
Yeah.
steadfast at a time when her spouse didn't see it, right?
Hmm.
Because, we always want, it's like learning something. We always want to share it and show everybody around us. And then
Yeah.
sometimes we can get discouraged because the people who we want to take with us don't take to it the same way. But shout
Yeah.
out to her
Oh,
for staying
yeah.
steadfast and being the example, and you realizing that, the example my wife is laying out for me is the correct path. And so congratulations,
Thank
man.
you, man.
and
Thank you.
and thank you for being vulnerable enough to share.
Oh man, always. I love sharing testimonies, man.
Yeah. Let me see, man. I got a couple more for you before I let you go.
Yes.
As an entrepreneur, I have to ask you this question. Do you think that entrepreneurship is something that we should teach young adults in middle school and high school? If so, why? If no, why not?
I believe so 100%. Um, I don't believe that everybody is meant to be in the working system. Um, I think that everybody should get a taste of it. Because there's certain structures, right? There's etiquette, there's workplace etiquette, there's certain things, when it comes to communication and customer service, or there's some stuff that there's benefits from it, right? But I don't think that for everybody it's the end all be all. And I do think that entrepreneurship should definitely be taught at all those levels. Because you got kids, man, that have amazing strengths and ideas, and I think that many adults take that for granted, or they don't see the importance of it. And I see young kids all the time where they'll analyze or explain things to me in a way that it seems above their it seems
Mm,
for I interpret
absolutely.
it as like above like their intellective age. It just seems so advanced, and no, I think that it should definitely be taught, and you got young kids nowadays that even if it's out here just mowing the lawn, that goes from mowing the lawn at a couple neighbors' houses to having uh uh
A landscaping
uh
business.
yeah, a landscaping business.
Yeah.
I've seen those stories, and or even, for example, um uh Apple starting off in a garage, man. I know it's been used many times, that story, but you had these young dudes in a garage working on these computer circuits, man.
Yeah.
And fast forward to 2024, $1 trillion business. Like, yes, it should definitely be taught to these young kids.
Okay. Or Amazon. Think about
All
Amazon.
right,
Amazon started out
exactly,
exclusively for books,
exactly,
right? To
exactly,
see that Amazon
exactly.
is into everything.
Yes,
So,
yes,
okay, all right. And I always like asking that because, financial literacy is a huge part of being able to be an entrepreneur.
yeah,
And I think that we need to educate the youth a lot more on financial literacy and entrepreneurship. And not so much that you have to go that route, but that that it's a viable option or
yes,
a possibility for you. And
exactly.
most times when we're in survival mode, we never really get a chance to, like you said, these kids are creative,
Hmm.
right? But when you're in survival mode, you can't really think about, how to fix a problem. You're so much trying
Hmm.
to get out of a problem. But
Yeah.
if we teach them these skills early on, they'll learn how to take, their experiences and turn them into
Hmm.
profitability.
Yeah, because it allows them to have a B, C, and D plan. You
Absolutely.
know.
Absolutely. Let me see. Let me see. I got one more question for you, and that question is going to be thinking about everything that you've experienced thus far in your life, Miguel. What about your life's path are you most proud of?
Um, the in my life's path, the part that I'm most proud of is me accepting that I don't have all the control, and that I could be vulnerable. Um, too many times, I and you learn from this, right? But I let my emotions, my anger, uh, my um, my my pride get in the way of a lot of things. And so, learning, um, the processes of being a leader in a home and having, patience and love and kindness with your kids, with your family, just me changing as a man, that from my changes that I went through from like the age of 29 to I'd say 33, that whole time period, I feel like that's the most that I'm proud of, because I feel like I went from that term, from a boy to a man.
Mm,
I thought I was a man because I was providing for my family and I was taking care of the bills and I was doing all this stuff, but there was way more to that. It was emotionally, it was spiritually, it was leading. There was so much more that I needed to rise up to and take accountability, and I feel like I did that.
okay. 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 Hey, listen, man. That transition period, um, to like you said, realizing that um, one, we need help, and we can't come up with all of the answers on our own. You know, you have to go through a dark season of leaving behind so many people, things, experiences to realize that God needed to separate you from those things, people, and experiences for you to be able to walk into, delight and what He has for you. And it's so much
Right.
more ahead of us. And I wish that a lot of us, learn how to let some of the stuff go in the past, right? And
Hmm.
through therapy, which has been great for me, I love therapy. I'm a huge
Hmm.
advocate for therapy. You just realize that, like you said, letting go of control. You don't have
Hmm.
control over everything, but the things that
Hmm.
you do have control over, God gives you the opportunity to exercise that control.
Right.
Hopefully, we choose to make better decisions than what we used to. So,
Right.
congratulations to you on so many different levels for
Thank you.
allowing yourself to be used, one, for taking the huge leap of faith to become an entrepreneur, from taking a huge leap of faith from being able to trust God and to being an example, right? Like I said, whenever I see you, you're always smiling. Anytime someone, when I started posting that you were going to be in, and it was like, oh my gosh, he's like, a great dude, great dude. It's like, I met Miguel originally. A shout out to Tori. Um, um, what was that at 518 Get Local?
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yes. I originally met you at a networking event.
Yes.
That's where I was going. So I
Gina
originally
Torres. Gina Torres.
Gina Torres. There you go. So
Yeah.
I originally met him at 518 Get Local, or Get Local 518 Get Local 518 networking event. Shout out to Gina Torres. And we ended up in a breakout session together, and it was just like, man, I felt your energy, I felt your vibe there, and to think about it, just like God just uniquely aligned that to happen,
Yeah.
and and that's how He works. So I just want to say congratulations to you. Shout out to Gina for putting that event together and everything that she
Yes.
does. But continue to be a shining example, and it's nothing better than to be able to be an example when you're able to be your authentic self.
Yeah,
So
man. Yep.
your authenticity shines through. Congratulations on that beautiful family. Congratulations on the success that you're
Thank you,
having with
man.
Mr. Smart Homes. And like I said, I'm gonna reach out to you offline too, because
Yes, sir.
I need some help with a smart lock up there
Yes,
that
sir.
is giving me some problems. So
Yes, sir, man.
yeah, but thank you for being on the back community. I can't wait to
Yes.
get your story out to the people, and I wish you and your family continued success moving forward. Congratulations.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity. Um, you know, uh, it's hey, man, we like you said, we went from a breakout session to this, and it's a blessing. Shout out to Torres Social, and and where we're at now, and I'm just hey, man, I'm humbly thankful and looking forward, to seeing, you grow, and all praise to God and your success, and
Thank you, thank you.
and you have my support, man, and even before we had these conversations, I had saw what you were doing, with the back community and your book, and the fact that you lived in Albany, and all of that. And I appreciate what you're doing, and also you being an example, man. And it just shows that there's many more brothers out here doing their thing,
Yep.
and hey, man, I wish you the best, brother.
Hey, thank you very much, man, and I humbly received that. Hey, listen, the back
Yeah.
community, you heard from him, Mr. Booked and Busy himself, Miguel Rodriguez. Thank you for being on the back community. I look forward to getting your story out to the world, bro. Talk to you later.
All right, God bless you, brother.
It's for all of the trials and tribulations. Just look at my mom made it. I said I was gonna change it, I did. And I know that we all destined for greatness, no matter what you've been facing. It's a marathon, no, it's not a sprint. It's for all of the trials and tribulations. Just look at my mom made it. I said I was gonna change it, I did. And I know that we all destined for greatness, no matter what you've been facing. It's a marathon, no, it's not a sprint. Trying to change for the better, all my city, see the difference. When the mamas to the children, every one of us is gifted.